Uma Musume is a game about horse girls racing. There are primarily 4 types of race strategies. There's frontrunner, pace chaser, late surger, and end closer, each with their own advantages and disadvantages. I actually lied. There's a secret 5th race strategy that at the time of this video is only on one Uma. Silent Suzuka has a race strategy that builds off frontrunners, however to the extreme. Runaway. It all started when DaiCon, a convention I had already planned on going, announced their Uma Musume tournament on April Fool's Day. I'd known that I wanted to have a strategy, or some way to stand out, but I didn't know what. So I just put this idea on the back of my mind as I went throughout my day. But I knew at some point I had to start thinking of something soon. It was only when I was racing my friends in real life when I remembered my racing strategy. I had spent all my stamina racing ahead of everyone, and although I had lost, my idea for Runaway Suzuka had come to fruition. The reason why Runaway Suzuka had become so overlooked to this point, despite being very dominant before, was due to the Track Blazer scenario. This scenario allows for massive stat improvements from Unity Cup. However, Runaway in this was not possible. Therefore, Runaway was a big gamble, having significantly less stats than the current meta. Just wanting to test the waters, I did a couple of runs. Fail, and then one of them worked. Although it worked by technicality, it didn't work very well. However, it did allow me to see the potential of the strategy and what I needed to have to see it work. I basically needed perfect stat inheritance, optimal training, and a perfect team. So the grind began for the most perfect parents to get perfect stats for my Suzuka.
The problem with running Runaway is that the stamina threshold is a lot higher than most runners, so needing those perfect parents were necessary, otherwise it could be detrimental.
Yeah, so that didn't work, and now there's only like a week left. At this point, I wanted to check who else had signed up for the tournament. I noticed kyarameru, a very skilled player, had signed up. I decided to find any info on what he was running, even if just for the smallest advantage. So you're running Admire Vega, right?
Yeah, yeah. She's my Oshi, so I got to run her after all.
Do you have any, maybe advice that I could have?
I will say, I don't know about you, but I'm kind of worried about this. There's this running style that isn't really common in Track Blazer, but I feel like theoretically it could kind of topple over what I have built. But I think I can counter it, so we'll see.
Well,
all right.
We have a week left, so good luck to your trainings, and I'll see you at the match, okay?
Yep, good luck. I'll see you there.
Good luck. Does he know? He might be onto us. At this point, I had thought he caught on. He clearly knew the strategy, but thought nobody was crazy enough to find it. So either I changed my strategy in case he used this week to make a backup strategy, or I take the gamble. At this point, I just considered switching to normal Suzuka and Track Blazer. To put my mind off things, I had started building the rest of my team. I had made an end closer Ogre Cap because her ultimate and straightaway spurt are very strong, and I also had just started doing frontrunner my Ono Top Gun runs. Because my lovely girlfriend came down to enjoy the convention, I had to put my mind off doing Uma Musume for the day, and wanted to just have fun at round 1. You can see me here in Billiam's channel, and he also has vlogged our entire experience quite extensively for the whole convention. But anyways, back to Uma. I was exhausted. I had only one decent runner, and I couldn't get a my Ono Top Gun that was just better than one of my parents, so I decided to use one of those runs. After that, I decided to do some test runs to see if my runners even had a chance. And they sort of did, but not in the way you expect. See, I noticed my Suzuka couldn't win in the mock matches, nor my Ono Top Gun. However, I saw their potential as blockers in a way. You see, the most consistent one was Ogre Cap. Suzuka, using Runaway, blocked angling and scheming, seeing as in order to proc this skill, you needed to be in first. And my Ono Top Gun allowed Suzuka to get into position if there was no frontrunners. While their stamina soon gets quickly drained, it allows all the Umas to be grouped up and Ogre Cap to spurt through and make consistent placements. I had hoped my theorizing and mock matches proved worthwhile as I went to sleep and prepared myself for the convention. As the tournament got closer, I was very anxious. I wanted to run more umas, to try and get something better. But I decided to use what I got. It's not like anything new could have proved more strong than my previous preparations. And then I saw kyarameru, with no Admire Vega, and rather double fronts and a pace. I had also noticed many other trainers running front-heavy strategies. Questions began bubbling in my head. Would my Suzuka be able to break away? Would I even win a single match? My Ogre Cap had stormed through and won first place. I thought it was hopeless, but maybe, just maybe, there was a chance. I then got second place. That's okay, it would help in case of a tie. I then got first again with Ogre Cap. However, this match wasn't the one I was most worried for. My next match against kyarameru. He won every single match up to this point, and maybe, just maybe, using that secret technique I could surpass him. After getting second this round, I was in a pretty good position to be in the top 3 and eligible for grand finals. This was much higher than I expected. Little did I know that I would be placed in the toughest match to test myself.
The racers have all entered the stands. And they're off. From a crowd of 4 frontrunners, Silent Suzuka leads the charge with a commanding lead. But it doesn't take long for Mihono Bourbon to close the gap. She's aiming for that front position and nothing less. Coming up on her side, Mihono Bourbon flawlessly overtakes Silent Suzuka and steals the lead. Can anyone catch up to her before she accelerates on the final corner? She's activated angling and scheming. We've entered the final straight and Mihono Bourbon has started flying out in front. Can anyone stop her in time? Mihono Bourbon is leaving the pack in her dust. Mihono Bourbon is 200 meters away before taking her next victory. She's dominating the race. Mihono Bourbon flies down the finish line in a staggering first place. How many lengths is that?
And with that, I didn't have enough wins to be considered for top 3. kyarameru with his team had been able to knock mine out of contention. Unfortunately for kyarameru, he had his first loss to Furuka's, and with a dance performance from our commentator, it was over. Despite everything that we've been through, we had a pretty good run. We placed 6th out of the 18-player bracket, which technically isn't the worst, and our strategy definitely made us stand out amongst the players. Looking back, I remember that no matter the challenges that we face, it's always worth it to be determined in what you believe is right. And even if you fail, you can learn something new. Big thanks to kyarameru for recreating our actual in-person interaction, iceblade for hosting the tournament, Zenz159 for commentating the tournament, Billiam for vlogging with me at DaiCon, and you for watching.